How will I have 300 million and be worried about my neighbors now?
You can rent an apartment.
How will I have 300 million and rent an apartment? How will I buy a place in my own name and still be paying every year maintenance fee, paying this, paying that? And if I don't pay for some years, you can take the house back.
And there's one good thing about the flood thing on the island. The soil kind of absorbs this.
Absorb my ass.
I know.
Bored
Wow.
to death.
Oh.
I was bored to death in the island.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome once again to the Lambano TV podcast. I'm your host, Odu Vincent, and today we'll be talking about something very, will I say controversial? This is Lagos, and when you get to live in Lagos, there are two major places here, island, mainland. Today we'll be talking about this topic. Which place is better to live? Is it the island? Is it the mainland? Join me. I have with me here today two amazing people that will be looking at this topic. To my left, join me as we'll make welcome Success. Success, how are you doing?
I'm fine.
Thank
How are you?
I'm excellent. Good to have you today.
Same here.
And on my right, I have with me Paul. Paul, how far?
I'm cool though.
You're cool. Okay, so Paul and Success will be looking at this topic, island, mainland. Which one is better? Which one has more vibes? Which one has more opportunities? Which one is preferred? If you're coming to Lagos State, where should you look at living? Should you go to the island? Should you go to the mainland? So, let's ride on. I'll start with Success. What are the major differences between island and mainland?
Okay. There are so many differences, like the differences between island and mainland. But first, it's environment.
Okay.
Okay, and then proximity to a lot of things. Like on the island, you have places that you might not easily get access to, while on the mainland,
Places
like clubs,
okay.
like gym,
Okay.
lounges, restaurants.
Okay, so
You
you
know,
have club, gym, and lounges in
You
the
have
highland.
easy access to
Easy
these
access.
places.
What about the
But
mainland?
on the mainland, you have to go to places like you should live around Ikeja or some high-end areas on the mainland.
Before you can access such
Yes.
facilities.
But while on the island, you can easily just go to these places.
Okay, Paul, do you agree with that?
No.
Uh,
The thing is, see the island
okay.
is not all they make it out to be.
Alright.
Sure you understand? The island is nice.
Okay.
Yes. But they still have their own local places.
Tell
If
me.
you're talking of the island, the main places on the island is, you say, okay, Lekki. But once you
Queen.
start going to Badori, all those places, you don't still have access to these places you're talking about. And on the mainland, we have more restaurants, more places to have fun, more clubs on the mainland than on the island. It's just, the island is just expensive.
Highland is
I'm
expensive.
not disputing that you don't have these things, right? What I'm saying is you have easy access to these places.
It's easier to go to a club on the mainland
You
than
would
you being
have
on
to
the island.
encounter traffic. You have to you have to commute from one place to the other, and it's to take you time.
Have you really faced the traffic on the island?
Terrible.
Within island, or
Yes.
like you're commuting from island to mainland.
Within island, have you faced the traffic there?
We are looking at which place in the island in particular.
I'm talking of just like from the toll gates
Okay.
going in.
Funny
Have you
how
faced the
you don't
traffic?
even need to get to the toll gate to get to where you want to go to most times.
But
If
people
if
living-
you're inside phase one, right, you kind of have access to everything you want.
So you don't need to go out.
Yes.
You're talking of just only a particular area on the island. If you are living in phase one, it's like saying if you are living in Festac. Or
We're
if you are
talking
living
about
in,
island.
yes, but you are just putting it at that particular, like if you are living in Lekki phase one, people living outside, people living in, okay, let's say like.
You pointed Aja, Badori. In Aja, we have these places. Yes.
The
you
access
have
to
yes.
those
I've been, I was in
Yes.
Naija like, was it like 2 months ago, maybe 3 months ago, for like a month plus. The only thing, the nightlife there is nice.
Okay.
The nightlife is
Okay.
nice. But apart from that, every other thing you need is on the mainland.
Do you know
Okay.
you can go to anywhere at any time on the island?
You can still go anywhere anytime
Oh
on
no,
the
you,
mainland.
you can't tell me. You
Now,
know,
now, okay.
you have to be checking out for time.
We'll come to that. But first of all, let me ask:
Okay.
island and mainland, which one offers better quality of life?
Better quality of life.
Yes.
Okay, I think the island, but everything boils down to your earning capability. What you earn, you should be able to earn well, because the truth is, standard of living is kind of high there.
Kind of, or is high? Mr.
It's,
Paul,
it's too high.
is it kind of high or high?
It's too high.
Okay,
Too high.
no, when you're saying too high, I think it is.
Relative.
It is relative.
Okay.
What is too high for you might be average for me, or just right.
Okay.
So when you're saying it's too high or it's high, that's why I said kind of high, because it depends on who we're talking about here.
Okay.
Right. So when we say it is high, I think we should just say, let's not use the word too high.
Okay, let me put it this way.
Okay.
If you are talking of the quality of living, yes, you say, okay, the island is. But have you considered the people living in the country? The minimum wage and everything. You are talking of the 1% of the 1% of the Nigerian people that will be able to conveniently afford that lifestyle. And those are either celebrities, A-list artists, like movie stars, or they are into like politics.
Okay, you have
So-
the Lekki. We're not talking about Ikoyi here or VI, right? You have the Lekki. I think
Okay.
Lekki upcomings can go to Lekki and you can manage.
You can
Maybe when you
manage.
start there,
Okay.
you can now.
What's the
think
cost of
about
living
going.
like Lekki compared to?
Funny how you have access to even local markets and Lekki, where you can get things almost the same price as.
Almost the same price.
Yes.
You know
Mr.
how?
Paul.
Okay, I was
Almost.
at Lekki Scheme 2. Lekki Scheme 2. I was there for like 4 days or so. Just from there, to get something by like 9, you have to like take an Uber down to the gates or down to the junction. Like, and sometimes they close early there. Like by 9:10, all the supermarkets are closed and the road is just there. It's free at night. The road is very, very accessible at night. But what's the point of you not being able to get anything you need easily? It's a gated community, yes, for safety, I understand. But people have needs. All those places you can't easily just, like now, outside now, you can just go outside, get something and come back. But imagine you wanting to get a bottle of water now. You have to go outside, take a cab,
Uber.
like, have to go to this, like, Jendol and stuff. And it's not as if it's that close to the houses. Either you drive, or you order, or you don't just walk down there. It's not like as if it's that accessible to everybody there.
Okay, so you're talking about having like little stores close to your house is where you can easily get things. There are, except you're talking about gated estates.
It's mostly
And
gated
there are
estate there.
some estate where you can even get where they sell things like that, like supermarkets.
I'm
And
not saying they are
there
not
are
there.
there are pharmacies on the island that do 24 hours. You can get water, you can get basic like groceries.
There are still places on the mainland that still have it. They have 24, like there are a lot of places that have it on the mainland.
Okay,
On
you
the
know,
mainland,
Yes.
24 hours.
Uh-uh.
Where, please?
What do they call this? Yanodu. That's like back of this thing.
That's
Ikeja.
after the third mainland bridge.
No. You're not even getting up to that point. Once you go to Yanopaja, just straight down. Like it's
You
just.
don't even know your mainland. It is not close.
It's not the mainland.
You don't know your mainland. It is not close. Iyano is not close to Iyanopaja. So all I'm
Iyano
trying
what?
to say is
Yano what? Yanodu.
it's not.
I'm
What we're trying
enjoying
to
this.
say is you can't tell me that
Oh my God.
they are always open 24/7 on the mainland. No, I
okay,
don't think
so
that's true.
from what both of you are saying, we have 24/7 services on island, we have 24/7 services on mainland. What I would say is it depends on the particular place you are. For some locations, you may get access to that. For some, you may not. But I have a question. Okay, let's put it this way. Let's start with healthcare. Which place offers or provides better healthcare?
Island, please.
That one is.
I
I
can
can't
mention,
argue with
if
that
I'm
one.
allowed,
Those
I can
islands.
mention
I
places.
can't
Okay,
argue with that
so
one.
okay, give me an example.
Med Plus is there.
Okay.
Yes, I'm so sure of that.
Okay.
Maybe
What
it was
about
healthcare.
education? Which place offers better education?
Oh, Island, obviously. Island.
See, you won't
please.
say. See,
You can't even argue that.
you would just say the quality of the school, like the buildings and all.
I'm
But
not
you
talking
can't-
about the quality. I'm not talking
The
about the
better
building.
educational
I'm talking
system.
about yes. That's
it's the mainland now.
okay.
Please, please,
All
Oh
right.
my God.
please.
Why? You should give reasons.
Mm-hmm.
The mainland is just like, how will I put it? There are a lot of schools here on the mainland, a whole lot of schools, and everybody has equal opportunity to like learn. On the island is privileged.
Mm.
The way for you to actually be educated on the island, you need to be very, very well off.
Come on, there are schools that there are schools that like government schools.
Even the government schools there, you still have to get stuff with money in most of them.
No,
Uh-uh.
no. Do you know that?
If-
Do you know there is? I think Ikate, like I think the community kind of take care of all those things.
I'm talking of
And the Lagos states in particular, I think some things like books are free for people in this is it Morocco? I'm not so sure. So they have
Yeah.
access to education,
things
except
are
the child
free,
doesn't
the same
want
way
to
things
go.
in the
Okay,
countries are
so if
always
I have
free.
2 children, let's assume I throw one in Island and I throw one in Mainland. Wherever they fall in, which do you think will come out more intelligent, more smart, more bright, based on the
Island.
education system?
First of all, it
Island.
will depend on the child itself.
Mm.
It will depend on the child. You can't just measure to.
No,
be
let's
the same.
assume the
Can we
both
consider
child
environment
have-
of
yeah,
learning?
both child have the
Can we
same thing. I'm
consider
talking
the
of the
environment of
opportunities
learning?
that come.
I would still say the mainland though.
Is the
Do you know you
mainland.
tend to learn faster when you are in a serene, conducive environment learning? Do you know?
So there are no conducive schools on the mainland.
Bro, you're talking about different factors that can be a distraction on the mainland.
Like
There are different factors,
Like-
like talking about quality of teachers.
Do you agree with that?
there are
Quality of teachers.
better teachers on the mainland.
Because some of them, like, maybe they have other businesses. They want to rush to another business. They just don't want to pay attention. But you know, the system is regulated on the island. A class
So
of
you're telling me
13,
that-
for example, you
okay.
have 2 teachers. The children they are being watched closely. How many schools in the mainland have cameras in the classrooms?
I don't know. I've not been to their secondary schools mostly, but I'm sure there will still be some. You have not been
So
to
head,
them.
head
Like,
teachers can watch what is going on in classrooms. And you have 2 teachers. How many schools here?
Have you actually
the-
seen?
the-
Have you been to the school itself? Yourself? Have you seen it in the school?
Yes.
Me, I've not been to one of these.
And you
the schools
don't
there and see,
pack
but
children in a class like what you see here. You can see maximum 10 in a class, and there are 2 teachers. It's a teacher and an assistant.
By the time the students finish, for example, secondary school, and you put both of them side by side, which one would you say is more
The one that was
confident?
close
Which one
monitored.
is-
nah,
The one that was
see,
close monitored tend
nah.
to get
See,
you get more value from this one. This one that was close monitored, not the one that you just have to struggle on your own. It now depends on if the child wants to learn. That is how it is here. I was actually born and I was raised here.
Okay.
So when I'm telling you these things, I'm telling you out of experience.
Okay.
It's probably because the child wants to. You want to.
Okay.
Right, that
So
is in the case
on
of
the
mainland.
island,
But on the
whether the child
island,
wants to or
you're
not,
being
the
monitored.
environment will force the
It is the
child.
teacher's responsibility to make sure that this child picks up.
Okay.
Yes.
let me even put it. See, children mostly raised on the mainland schools, they are more confident when they go outside than children raised in.
Are you talking about streets-wise?
I'm not talking of just
confidence?
streetwise. Like they learn a lot from their classmates mostly, than you. It's like homeschooling a child,
Okay.
and you bring the child outside. even if the child is fluent in English, that child will be shy to talk
That
out.
outside environment factor.
But you see, when they are all together in a room, you are saying it might be too crowded, but that's when they do their own learning.
Are you saying children on the island are not confident enough?
They are I'm not saying they are not. They are just reserved. I will put the word reserved.
Okay, I think it depends on personality, one. Two, it depends on the cycle. I don't just go to a place and I'm already talking, I'm already being outspoken, I want to talk to everybody.
Okay.
I should feel
You are
comfortable,
taking
I
it
should
back
feel
to
like
being
the vibe.
individuals again. We are putting the two.
No,
on
you're
the same.
saying, you're trying to tell us
No,
that they are not
like-
confident. People
No,
they
you're
will
saying
just be in
10
their
in the
shell.
classroom.
People
Ten
in
in
the
the
island
classroom,
being their
and
shell,
Lagos
you know.
and mainland being people too many.
Okay.
No, you're
do
saying
you know
island
that-
child raised in the island will just when the child is outside, the child is outspoken. As if we're trying to paint the picture of mainland children are just so reserved. They are not confident. That's not true. They are when they are among their peers, people that they are
not.
familiar with.
I've met a lot of them. A lot of them.
Maybe the person
There's sometimes
is
you
not,
even see them. They
or
might
the
be.
or
They might.
personality, the person might be an introvert.
smart, but you might sometimes
They
you
have
just look at them.
introverts here too.
Yeah, now just sometimes, but sometimes you just look at them and you just be like, wow. Like thank God I grew up on the mainland.
It's
Like,
the child that is probably looking at you
Okay.
like he's trying to blend to whatever you were doing.
Okay.
They talk. They are outspoken too. They can be very
let's
confident.
take it a little step higher in terms of job opportunities, business opportunities. Island, mainland. Which one?
you cannot just even
Which
say that.
one
You cannot.
offers?
You see,
which
you're all
one
laughing at it.
offers better?
Do you know some people
or
have to
business?
move to the island just to network, just to connect, just to build that?
How
know,
many
what are you telling
companies are on
me?
the island? You know how many industrial areas are on the mainland?
Okay,
Just talking of only Agbara here. You know how many?
Agbara, right?
Like okay, how many places? How many industrial
How many
areas are on
of
the
them
island?
are like organizations that pay high? It's not about getting this.
There are jobs on the island, but the jobs on the island they are selected. There are few jobs on the island.
You know
Those
the kind of
ones are
connections you make on the
Let me
on the
tell you,
island.
see, those ones are mostly those ones on the island. I'll put it that it's just like the head office.
Okay.
We are talking of job opportunities. The one that can hire, like, employ more people. The head office can be on the island, and they have different branches on the mainland. Where do you think people would actually feel okay? They will get the opportunity to get a job first. People don't just go to school and finish and go to the island once to go and look for a job. They start looking for a job here to build their resume to
I've
take
never
to the
worked
island.
on the mainland.
That's it. You are talking of your own self. You're talking of
I know.
most of the
Right
percentage
from
of
NYSC, I went to the island.
You
Yes,
might,
I
you might
know.
have
Because
had that
What am I
opportunity.
going to do here? Like,
What are you going to do? Yeah.
what am I going to be doing here? Right? Yes. So, but you kind of, I still feel you get more
So
opportunity
if there are
out there.
if there are
than here.
100 people that are coming to Lagos, where will you ask them to go with the mindset that they will get a job?
It depends on your resources, because if you don't have resources to start there, it's fine
Let's
to start
assume
here.
no. Let's assume.
But we're not saying
let's
it's making here the
okay,
best.
let me paint a scenario. You have 100 people. They are all graduates. They have good certificates, and
Okay.
you have to advise them either go to the island or mainland. You will get a job. Where will you ask them to go?
Island, obviously.
How will you tell them to go to the island?
That's why I said it depends on the resources you're coming with. If you can afford to stay on the island, please stay.
These are just fresh graduates. Where did they get the resources from? like a baby, you're telling the baby to just start running at once. No, now.
Okay. We'll be focusing on job opportunity. How about business? Say you want to start a business. Which place is easier? Which place encourages new businesses? Which place is easy to start, grow, and boom?
Okay, these days, this present time now we are in. Do you know you don't even need
Need a
to
location.
open like
A
a
physical
physical
shop.
store.
You don't need it.
So
Actually.
I think that way you can't even tell if it is island or mainland when it is business.
Okay,
But
so remote.
But yes, but also you might get to meet people on the island that can help boost this business.
Are you saying you can't meet those people on the
You
mainland?
can, but they,
You are
people
talking
you
from your
get
own
to meet.
personality. You're talking from your own personality.
Okay.
The mainland, you even meet more people on the mainland than on the island. Because on the island, the way you said it, like everybody keeps to themselves mostly.
Yeah, that's true.
They keep to themselves. But on the mainland, you can just be walking and you just see someone. Like someone will just ask you something, and before you know, you've connected to that person. You meet people easily.
Mainland, they're in their car.
It's like
they're in
every
their
like
houses.
they don't even like they can just be driving and they just horn, just pass, windows up, no high.
I think that's a good thing there. You get to enjoy.
Then how do you network?
quietness.
Then how do you
get to enjoy
network like that?
quietness. Then you can actually approach people. If the person is your neighbor, you can approach.
You
the
tell me
person.
9 out of 10 times if someone should approach you on the road on the island, you would literally
on the
stand
road.
or anywhere.
You can't even approach me on the mainland on the road and
Okay,
want
on the
to give
island.
you
Okay,
audience.
if you're in a restaurant or like a bar, somebody
Okay.
should just walks up to you. Will you
Why
just
not why not on the island or the mainland? I want to hear what you have to say.
but you feel most of them will do it, or most of them will accept that kind of invitation?
Yes, you should try it. Yeah, yes.
It doesn't really work that
They
way.
do.
It doesn't work that way.
Okay, let's take the conversation to another aspect. Let's look at relaxation.
Okay.
Comfort, peace of mind. That
You don't even
environment,
need to argue
that
this
that
one. You don't need to
vibe.
Depends on what
This
you
one.
No, it depends on what you are
So
saying. though.
which place is more peaceful and you have a relaxed lifestyle, island or mainland?
Obviously.
Nah, that one is the island.
This is the first time you agree.
I will agree with that one.
Okay,
You
like,
can even work as a remote worker on the island and no noise.
Okay.
that one
All
is
right.
the island.
Okay, how about which place has, there's this community sense of this influence of the community, like it is our place and you feel that communal security and safety. Which place offers that more? Is it the island or the mainland?
Safety.
I think both. But just that residents on the island don't get to bother too much about these things because most of the houses there they're like serviced apartments that all these things are being taken care of. So you're just relaxed on your own, knowing that the owners of the facility, they are in charge of this thing. So you're just cool in the community. So I can just say both.
What do you
I
say?
agree with her on that one though.
So both are on the same level.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yes,
I'm
the difference
thinking-
is just that here on the mainland, you need to residents have to like come out,
Something
put
is
heads
happening
together.
sharp. You
Yes,
get that.
put heads together to fix this.
Okay.
While on the island, there
It's
are people
structured.
in charge,
Okay.
facility managers that they are in charge of these things. You just stay on your own, and these are being taken care of.
Okay, now the big one. Which place is safer from crime? Natural disaster. Okay, let's start with crime first. Let's
Okay,
not
for
lump
crime.
it together. Crime. Which
Crime,
place?
island
Crime,
is
the island is
safer.
safer.
Island is
Island is
safer.
safer
Yeah.
when it comes to crime.
Okay.
He's beginning to agree with me. Thank you.
So
No, that one is.
And
I've been robbed so many
then when
times.
you're
on
talking
the
Natural
about
mainland.
disaster. Which place
I think
is
the only
safer?
problem is flood in some areas on the island. And there's one good thing about the flood thing on the island. The soil kind of absorbs this.
Absorb my ass.
I noticed it like when it rains and it's flooded in the morning, where you're coming back from work and it's kind of dried up. The soil kind
What are
of
you
absorbs
talking
it
about?
fast.
What are you talking
But
about?
I'm not disputing the fact that it gets flooded most times, right?
They don't even have good drainage system.
Okay.
They don't have good water.
Okay.
That's why I said, okay, yes, it get flooded sometimes.
Okay, so you're admitting
But before
for
you
this one now.
kind of.
Kind of.
Alright. You don't want to admit
Kind of.
completely, kind of.
That one is a very long conversation.
Okay, now let's take it a little bit personal. Would you prefer the quiet beauty of the island or the fast-paced life of the mainland?
Who doesn't like soft life? Oh,
I won't lie to you. See, I stayed on the island. I was bored
Wow.
to death.
Oh,
I was bored to death on the island.
why? You don't go out.
I go out, but mostly
Stay on
I
the
go out
island,
every night.
Or maybe you could
I
have
go out. I
to
play
go
snooker
out.
every night.
Hey, why will you be
But
bored?
you don't get. One thing about the island, every bad thing you need is easy to get on the island. Every single, is it drugs? smoke, women. It's so easy to get on the island. And when you go there for the first time, it pulls you in. Like,
Wait though, I don't mean to deviate you, but you said every bad thing you need is on the island. You mentioned, is it drugs, smoke? You mentioned women. This is not our topic, but is women bad thing?
you understand what I mean? You understand what I mean?
Don't mind me, don't mind me.
You know what I
Let's move on. Okay.
So, basically, the thing is, once it pulls you in, you get used to it to a certain point. Then you start getting tired of that lifestyle. You go back home. It's just everybody's just on their own inside the house. The peace and quiet is nice, but there are some people are not like they don't like staying alone. They don't like being in their own space too much. It messes with your head. Me, I'm the kind of person that I like just coming outside, seeing people, like vibing. But the island, everybody's just way too
That's why
reserved.
you have lounges
That's why-
that you can go to. It doesn't even need to be club. Like you have
Even
lounges
the
you can
lounge
go
is
to
like-
sit out.
You don't
You
get.
have access to cinema. Oh my God.
See the mainland, eh? The mainland is just that ginger. Everything is just
Everything
like.
is there.
As a young guy, I do like I like peace
you
and
must
quiet.
really
but-
like noise. You don't like peace and quiet.
no.
You don't like peace
Oh,
and
God.
quiet.
See,
How will you say? Do you know? Except for someone like me, I can stay when I have my phone. I have access to internet services. I can stay in the house all week.
see what I'm saying. So
Yes.
I can't live
So
like
that is for someone and I've never even said I like quiet, peace and quiet. You were the one saying it and you're still complaining.
No,
that
like
you
I
don't-
like
you want to
it when
get
I
to
want
see
to,
people.
when I like
Then you
when I
want
just
to
want.
go out. You can't stay in, you confine yourself in the house and you expect to see people. You have to go out, sit
Okay.
out.
Okay, so
I just like the fast-paced mainland
fast-paced
Mozambique.
life. So
It's
if
just-
you had to choose a place to raise a family, what would you pick?
I won't choose the mainland though. As a single person, I'll
Yeah.
choose the mainland.
But now you want to raise a family. Where
When
would
you feel like
pick?
settling down, you need security.
So
Like so, most of the island is better when it comes to that point.
do
But
I need to ask you?
as a single person,
Okay.
nah, I feel like the
He's
mainland
beginning
is
to
better.
agree with me.
Yeah.
So you want
The
to
mainland
raise
is
your
better.
kids.
Who doesn't want to raise their kids in a very safe environment?
That means you're trying to agree with me the other time when you said
Even
kids they are
even
not
there on the
confident
island,
enough.
even there on the island,
But
they
you
still
want
take
to
their
raise
kids
them
outside
there.
country to raise them.
Okay.
Everybody wants better for their children now. So
Okay, so obviously you, which place would you like
Obviously, Highland.
to? You will not bring them here
No.
for some time.
No.
Island all the way.
Island.
Okay, now let's assume you get whether at the moment now, let's assume you just hit one business or one contract and you get 300 million. Where would you go and settle down?
And obviously, Island.
I would settle down on the mainland
Why? Why
Because-
mainland? Why island?
because first of all, that 300 million is not really that. It's not the amount of money you need to settle down on the island. You need to be making it constantly
Okay.
to actually afford the lifestyle on the island. Why on the mainland you can actually build a house and invest a lot of money in businesses on the mainland.
Okay.
And
With that 300 million, you establish well on the
You
mainland.
can also invest on the mainland island with
300
300 million.
million.
You don't
Like-
have to start. You don't have to build your own. You can rent an apartment.
how will
and-
I have 300 million and rent an apartment?
Why?
Why? Why would you?
Yes, you can.
That's 300 million.
Yes, you can rent an apartment and then invest in whatever
I
business
can
you
build
want to
as
invest
big a house as I want to on the mainland.
on the mainland.
With
And make
half the
regular,
money.
regular
Okay, let me
income.
okay. I said I was at Lekki King Swabi. My friend's compound there. You can't have a personal gym in the compound. They have one lister. There are places you can park that are designated for only you, and you can only park one car. Those kind of things you will hardly see them on the mainland. Imagine you telling me I can't put on a gen. I will have to wait for the whole compound to like gather money and buy a diesel for the lister. It doesn't make sense.
That's
Then how
service
is it-
apartment. That's how they
And
want to
you
regulate
can still
it.
buy it. You can buy the service apartment, yes. You buy, at least if you, how will I buy a place in my own name and still be paying every year maintenance fee, paying this, paying that. And if I don't pay for some years, you can take the house back. It doesn't. So why would I want
They are
to?
trying to reduce things like maybe noise pollution. Sometimes Sometimes your neighbors might even report you that this particular tenant, I can't sleep, my children, they can't
So
sleep.
with that
the
amount
noise.
of money,
So when they tell you don't bring in your own
oh
gen,
my God.
you have to pay for service charge so they can power the gen for a particular period of time. Power the put on the gen for a particular period of time so you can maybe charge or whatever you want to do. You know that it's even better.
With
Because when I'm
300
bringing my
million,
own gen and you're
how will
bringing
I
your
have
own
300
gen,
million and be worried
then-
about my neighbor's noise?
do you know, even if you're going to build your own apartment in some estate, they'll tell you that you don't even need to bring in gen like this, or you don't need to bring it in gen that makes so much noise. Your neighbors will report you, not even to the community. They'll report to the government, and they'll serve you papers, or they'll just come to you.
You still don't get. You are using the island. They don't do all those stuff on the mainland like that. They don't do all the.
You just want to live on the mainland just anyhow, like
It's
I'm
not-
back
it's not
from
any-
work and the
See,
noise of my neighbor's
let me tell you,
generator,
see,
I can't even sleep.
the best-
You prefer that?
The best place, to live if you have money, is the mainland. There's like, you don't get 300 million. I will be staying in an apartment, a rented apartment.
300 million. You just mentioned that it's not like enough. It's not like a lot. That was what you mentioned.
It's not a lot to stay on the island. Like to actually, if you, how much do they sell houses on the island?
Are you going to buy a house because you've made 300 million?
I can build a house, a very comfortable house with like 70 to 100 million on the mainland. That will be so good
Okay.
and look so
And
advanced.
then you now start seeing these environmental factors that
What
now
environmental
you don't
factors?
want to raise your kids on the mainland.
See,
That's one of the
No.
reasons, right?
see,
After paying for the 70 million naira buying a house or building a house.
if I build a house here, if I even have 300 million, my kids will not even be in the country.
No,
Why-
let's not jackpot.
why-
Let's
you
not
know
run.
that's not
Wait,
like-
let's not run.
Why you
Let's
can get
not
a
run.
full apartment like a duplex for like 10 million for a year,
A
or
year?
like 15 for a year?
How is that a good investment plan?
That's just like for a year. Why you have extra a lot of money like left for you to invest.
Okay, invest like, okay, what on the island would you invest that money in?
There are a lot of things. Anything you can invest here, you can actually invest. We're talking about real estate, like buying a house or building a house. They want to maybe put it out for sale or rentage or whatever. You can still do it while you're there. You can start up just any business.
If you want to start saying you want to do importing, exporting, or most of all those stuff that most people do,
Okay, why can't you do it there?
where would they even bring it to?
Why can't
Let
you
the
do it
other
there?
people
The people to do what?
to patronize you if you want to do
Is
import
it?
and export.
They have to
markets
patronize
there.
you, but you would still have to be coming to the mainland most of the time because almost all the goods come to the mainland.
Are you for real?
Why now? It's not from here. They still take them there.
You're talking about like a papa. That's maybe if the goods is going to land there, they can distribute to just anywhere. Where is it
going to land before?
It can land anywhere.
They will drop it.
It can land anywhere. And to be distributed anywhere.
So, in other words, if you have 300 million, you will stick to your highland.
Yes.
But if you have 300
And
million, you will
enjoying
stick to your mainland.
comforts.
I will live like a king on the mainland than better for me to live like a king here than be a slave in some. How will I be in a
How are
compound
you
there?
being a slave?
How will you tell me not to? How will I stay? How will I
slave?
be staying in a rented apartment and still be like, still be listening to what? Okay, the landlord said they should not do this. The estate this thing said they should not. For what
Because
now?
they're trying to regulate how you don't need to make noise. You don't need to just park anyhow, so they don't get to start calling you out to come and move your car.
That's the thing.
So your neighbor can.
I want to
I
have
think
my
it is
own
order.
space.
Imagine
They're
now,
trying to
with
maintain
that,
order.
with what he's saying, he can have his own car. The wife can have her
Sure you
own
get.
car.
They
There
can
can be
park
space
anyhow
for 3 other
they
people
want.
in the big compound.
Like,
For you,
children
what
can
do you
play
want?
and be
No,
making
you
noise in the
can
compound,
actually
and
get
nobody will say,
a
"Oh,
full duplex." I know there are some celebrities that started like that.
Okay, but on
But
that,
you don't understand
note,
that I said you
that
hit
300
that money
million,
once.
It's
not something that is coming
not coming
constantly, oh.
regularly.
Then
Do
you
you
can
get
you can
it?
invest with. You're talking about building a house for 70 million, which I'm even very sure that it should be above that. Now, if you want to build a standard house now, where you can. Yes,
I said
cost
7
of
to
things are
100.
very expensive.
It will
now.
build you a very good house."
Yes. So, but you need like a quarter of that money to rent yourself a full duplex.
And keep on
Then
paying
you
more
have,
every
then
then
year.
you have the
And
rest to
next year-
invest
next-
with.
remember
So you
next
have
year-
the rest to invest. You have.
Then in the next 5
you have
years,
so
the
much
land I would
money
have
now.
bought for how much would have increased again.
Appreciated.
Everything will keep on going up.
The land you would have bought here,
Yes,
you
and
can still buy land here. It's definitely appreciates in maybe years and maybe
you
want
are
to
you
sell.
are making
It's-
the you are
land
making the
doesn't-
assumption that the investment will actually pay off. It's
I
an
just
investment.
feel like you mentioned
It has
that
ups and
300
downs.
million is not a lot. That's what you mentioned, and I
Yes.
agree with you, kind of. Yes, that is not really a lot. So you tend to not use all in or like almost half in building a house, especially when it is right like your own residence, not like you want to let it out. So it is not even advisable that
Wow.
you should just go and use almost half of it to build an apartment or build a house for yourself and your family. Not like you're going to rent and you're expecting. Yes, so it is even advisable that you get a place on the island where you can rent
Oh my
a
God.
full duplex for yourself and your family. You can park just anywhere, just yourself,
No,
for
let me
like
see,
20 million
let me
or
just-
10, and you
Let me
have
put it
200
let me
and
put it
to
this
invest
way.
with.
You are looking at it from a female point of view.
Mm.
Men mostly we tend to look at how we can make more. And like you now, you rent the place. Abi, you say that you get married, you move in with somebody else. As a guy now, I have the house, I built it already. It is mine. I have the papers and everything. That one is a landlord property. It is not going anywhere soon.
I see why most guys they just hit money and they want to build house. You don't even have any substance or anything you're doing to make, and then you're in that house. You are broke. You are just there. You have.
But I'm in my house.
Guy,
Would it be broke? Is it not better to be broke in your house than be
you're
broke
not going
in,
to be
in
that
an
broke
apartment?
there because you just rented an apartment for the meantime while you're investing much more money on something else that will be fetching more money. And before you
No,
know
be
it,
fetching
you're
more
getting
money.
your own house. If you say there or here.
Okay.
No offense. I would
So
rather
if
be
I
in my
have 300 million, I'm still going to stay on the island. Thank you.
All right. So one last question.
Oh my
I will wrap it up. 5 billion. Where would you stay?
He's
5
going to
billion.
stay
I'm
on
not
the
staying on
island.
the mainland. It will be
If
5
you
billion now.
see, he's going to
Calm
stay on
down,
the
calm
island.
down.
That's generational wealth. Like, what are you saying?
5 billion. Where would you stay?
Funny enough, I will not even stay in Lagos again.
No. We are not going out of Lagos.
Okay.
If you had
If you
to
are saying-
choose 5 billion, where would you stay?
If I'm staying on the mainland, it will be like mostly like Ikeja.
Okay.
Because Ikeja safe.
But it's still no need to specify.
Okay,
So
I can.
you
I
still
will,
stay
I
in
will, I will stay on
mainland.
the mainland.
5
On the
billion.
mainland.
You
Yes,
stay
I'll
on
stay
the
on the mainland.
mainland.
I will stay on the
5
mainland.
billion.
I'm serious. Oh.
5 billion. That is when commuting from here to island will be so difficult to you because you feel like I have billion.
What would I? What,
billionaire.
what would I?
How
What would
many
I want to
billion?
go to the island for? 5 billion. I will have an helicopter now. What are you telling me?
Oh
If
God.
you're going to squander the money, with time, save that your helicopter, you will have to be entering it when you are with empty stomach.
You on the island will not squander it.
How will you get a helicopter?
You on the
because
island.
You have 5 billion.
You would want to. You
and
want to
no
buy a
other
house on
source
the
of
island,
coming.
Abi?
Yes, of course. And
After
I'll be
you buy
looking
the
at
house,
Ikoyi, not even
almost
Lekki. Like yes, I'll be looking at
half
Ikoyi, not even
or
Lekki.
60% will be
Can
gone.
you imagine? You know how much is that? Are the houses there?
It depends.
And
on
the way I look at you, you want the most expensive and
Yeah.
most luxurious.
I like good things, so I
Okay,
like-
okay. All right, I think it's a good place to wrap it up. And if you have one last thing to say to the audience about island, mainland, now don't be biased. One advice, one tip. What would you tell them?
Okay, so honestly, I think the island, for a starter, you might not want to consider the island because of the costs of living, right? So, but if you feel like, okay, you're comfortable to some extent, you can give it a try, right? And you would definitely enjoy it. Most of the time, people on the island is just packaging. Right, you do this kind of fake it till you make it, because it definitely give you the vibe like, okay, you're even motivated. People around you on the mainland, they are just within your kind of, but when you go there, you see people they kind of inspire you to want to do more. Like you're not just so comfortable with where you are. That's just the kind of vibes you get there. So when you're okay, like you're comfortable enough, you're buoyant enough to afford a place there, it's fine to consider it. If not, you can remain on your mainland. Thank you.
Okay. How about
On
you?
my mainland.
How about you? One advice, let's see.
The thing is, I don't know. You see, island on its own, to me, it's not somewhere I really, really fancy that much. It's not somewhere I've been there. I've stayed there for a while, and I feel like you going to the island, you need to like have the mindset that okay, you are on your own. Like you are hustling on your own. She said it, fake it till you make it. Like that's the main slogan for the island. But on the mainland here, I feel you come across way more people. And the connection you make on the mainland are people that will help you grow and you guys grow together. The island, most of them have already made it. So them trying to help you is not really it won't work out that well. So as a young person, like build your way up the ladder. Like just build your way up the ladder. Anyhow you can just build your way up the island. Start small. You can't just
Boom.
just start small.
Start from where you are. Alright guys, you heard it from Success, you've heard it from Paul, Island, Mainland. What do you think? If it's you, I gave to scenario 300 million, 5 billion, where would you like to stay if you had those kind of money? Please comment and don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel. Until we meet next time, thank you for watching. Bye bye.